Thanks for joining us after UFC on Fox 21, Maia versus Condit. We are live here in the press room after the fights with Chuck Mindenhall and Casey Leydon, who's normally behind the camera.
There's a reason. Yes. There's a reason.
A unique treat to sit between you guys. It's awesome.
And we're going to discuss what we just saw.
So Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Let's just get started.
So, I don't know.
Tell me...
What were you expecting? What were you expecting, man, in the hat? Chuck Mindenhall?
Oh, this falls to me right away?
Yeah. Right?
This is my first Facebook Live, so... I wasn't expecting that exactly. I thought that Maia would have a great chance of winning, but I thought maybe he'd wear him down a little bit and take it into the deeper rounds. I actually projected he'd win by decision, so I was a little surprised at how fast it happened. Mm-hmm. But got a little somber there in the end when we were talking to Carlos Condit in the presser, and just kind of what's going through his mind and everything like that. So, in retrospect, I didn't really see it going down quite that fast, and but that just tells you how good Damian Maia is at 38 years old, taking such minimal damage, doesn't even need to trade punches anymore. It just takes guys and gets their back, and can just end it that fast. So, very impressive by him.
Yeah, that's the most incredible statistic. I think Mike Vaughn, right over there, tweeted that in the last 6 fights or something, Maia's been hit
13,
like 4 fights. Last 4 fights, he's been hit with 13 strikes, which is... Doesn't even make
absurd.
Sense. Doesn't even make sense. It's like it's such an incredible number.
Yeah.
And I thought Maia would get Condit down, but Condit's so tough on his back, and I thought he would just kill him. And he kind of hit him with one elbow, but I thought he would just be able to really hurt Maia from the top, from the bottom, because he's such an active bottom game. But no, didn't happen.
Yeah.
But he said that one strike on the ground that Maia landed just surprised him. It rocked him, and I felt like because everything happened so quickly and he didn't get a chance to even throw a strike standing, that it just...
Do you remember the strike? I watched the fight. I don't actually remember that strike that hit him.
I do remember, actually, only because I have a picture of it.
Yeah, well, we're not going to see the picture, but...
Okay, fine.
So it was just, I guess it was just a nice little strike from the bottom, and it must have hurt him.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It does make you
It rocked
wonder.
him, and then it left like a little tiny bump.
It does make you wonder, Carlos Condit, his last fight, obviously, very close split decision loss to Robbie Lawler. Could have gone either way, and just what that took out of him for him to go through the whole process of contemplation as to what he was going to do, and then really gets a fight, very tough matchup, obviously, but it's not a guy who's going to rock him, sock him, and do a brawl with you. So I feel like, in retrospect, I feel like he might have been gauging, himself a little bit on this fight, and it just didn't work out for him.
Don't forget, you guys can ask questions as well, and we'll pull some questions from the comments.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
So what is next for Maia first? What is next?
Man, the great thing about that division is you got 2 guys now with these long winning streaks, and both of them look equally impressive and very different styles in which they're doing it with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. So I still think you got to go with Wonderboy at this point. To me, that guy's just sort of I know he doesn't have this bombastic personality. He's not going to be controversial. He's not going to do those things. But his style by itself is just so aesthetically pleasing to watch.
Actually, we have both.
Yeah,
both
that's true.
like
That's
that,
true.
yeah.
But I just think he was there. I feel like Damian Maia was very impressive tonight. I don't think he should leapfrog him at that point.
Also, I feel like they should reserve him anyway, because if they have them fight together, then you knock out a contender. You might as well keep this line for the title going, and then that way whoever wins between Woodley and Thompson can then fight Maia.
Yep, absolutely.
Like Maia's case was like, dude, I'm old. He's like, I'm old. I'm 38, and
I don't blame him for wanting to wait it out. I mean, although it could be a long process. I mean, you've got other factors going on with GSP and everything else. It's just who knows how long that would mean. He has to wait.
That's
okay,
true.
so if we do Woodley versus Wonderboy, who does Maia just do? Does Maia just wait, you think, or do you have like Maia Lawler, Maia GSP? I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Maia Nick Diaz.
Yeah, well, that would be fun, wouldn't it? That would be a good fight.
So I think it's just.
I'd watch Maia and Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
I just really doubt Maia will get the title shot because the whole moving the needle. It's just no matter what he does, he can submit guys just by looking at him. I don't think he'll get a title shot.
At some point, it almost becomes transcendent to watching how he's getting it done. I mean, he's just not taking any shots and just gets these guys, and it's just a matter of time until he finishes these fights. I mean, I don't think I was thinking about that tonight after this. What was the time of the finish? It was pretty quick, a minute and 52, something like that. You'd be hard pressed to look at a guy on a 4 fights in a row that looked as good as he has in those 4 fights, giving up his minimal damage, not getting hit, and just making it his fight so thoroughly.
Who are those 4 wins?
Neil Magny was one of them. Let's see, who else? He got Gunnar.
You look it up?
He had Gunnar.
Gunnar.
Yeah. Who was the other one?
Brown.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Matt Brown.
Brown.
That's right.
Matt Brown.
Yeah. And I mean, all very different kinds of guys there, and he's just dictating the.
Yeah, has there ever been a run like that? 4 top 10 guys with not even getting a scratch.
Yeah, that's I mean, and especially when you look at who those guys were and where they were coming from when they went in those. Magny had been doing really well. Gunnar was doing great, so he's just shutting people down. I mean, that's just about as thorough as you can get in those 4 fights. And I mean, obviously his win streak goes back a little further than that. A couple of decisions against Ryan LaFleur and Yokola. But I mean, he's basically been dominant, So
What's interesting? Rory McDonald, the new Bellator welterweight, now is the last guy to defeat Damian Maia and Woodley. Is he the last guy to defeat Woodley? Well, he defeated Woodley regardless.
Hot commodity heading over to Bellator. Huh?
Yeah. So
yeah. What a weird.
It's kind of weird. Like if you do welterweight rankings across the board.
Yep, he was also the last man to defeat Tyron Woodley.
Rory McDonald, if you do just welterweight rankings by all promotions, just wins and losses by MMA math. Rory McDonald actually maybe could be the number one.
This division.
The number one,
It tells you something about this division. I mean, the welterweights are always so deep, but I just feel like right now you've got just so many guys up there at the top. It's kind of a fun time, especially if GSP and Nick Diaz get back into the mix. So it should be fun.
So you got Lawler coming back, and who the heck knows?
What's next for Condit?
That is up to him. Yeah, I think Condit is entirely up to him. I don't know if you guys saw the post presser. It might have been the most depressing end to a post presser I've seen in a long time.
But let's talk about the co-main event.
Yeah, it was a great fight.
That was awesome.
That was
just okay. I didn't see all of Lauzon Miller, but I thought Pettis Oliveira was the fight of the night.
Yeah.
Didn't that feel like a higher level fight? I mean,
so many reversals and
just
back and forth. Even in the striking, a couple times Oliveira was getting in his.
I never agree with the fight of the night picks most of the time. So, from cage side, what fight did you enjoy the most?
I would say I enjoyed Pettis' victory the most. I think they didn't want to give it to Pettis Oliveira because Oliveira basically just wanted to pull guard for this round, and he did land a lot of shots, but
I don't think he wanted to pull guard. I think he wanted to live.
Yeah, he wanted to live, and there was.
There's also something about like just Pettis going into this fight. 3-fight losing streak. He needs to come through. He's going through these different parts where he's given up his back a couple times. It looks like he may be getting out. All of a sudden, he reverses. It was very dramatic in that sense. Like you're like, oh man, this could be his 4th loss in a row. There was some major stakes kind of floating through the air in that fight, and that kind of gave it to me a bigger import.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
The story
in the end, yeah. I know we talked a little bit about like Jim Miller and Joe Lauzon. They had that great fight at 155 before. It was all bloody and everything, but we were sort of like, yeah, man. It would be better to kind of match those guys up against the younger cats that are coming up. That way we're kind of seeing, making those guys more gatekeeper types because that's, I think, where they're at in their career, even though people hate that word. But I didn't really want to see them do it, but it was still a fun fight. So I feel like the stakes also play into that a little bit.
Yeah, stakes matter.
Yeah.
What
a great performance.
I'm sorry?
From Pettis. What a great performance from Pettis.
Yeah. Coming to that second round, I'm like, oh, maybe Pettis. Okay, I guess, is he a better 45er than a 55er? Because to me, I felt like it's the same. I think, I know it's gonna be hard to go up and down, but I feel like I don't really see a difference.
And it's funny too because you're looking at Oliveira, who's also a big 45er. So it's like then you're looking at it's hard. So you're really judging him off how he looked, and I guess he was saying like he wasn't even sure if he was going to make the weight, but he did. And he felt pretty good about it, but he was gassing a little bit in the fight. So I think the verdict's still out a little bit on that to see how he's going to handle himself. People were calling for him to fight Holloway, and that's a fun fight to contemplate, but it might be a little bit of a crazy fight right off the bat.
I'd rather see Pettis at lightweight. I didn't enjoy how gaunt he looked all week.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah.
I don't like taking that health risk for these fighters. So I mean, that's just my.
He really did look gone. I saw him the day before the weigh-ins.
But I think it's unique. But we say how bad he looked at weigh-ins. But I think because these new early weigh-ins. The fact that we're the media, we're way closer. Mm-hmm. We're way closer to these fighters, and I think we're actually just noticing how horrible they look at these
weigh-ins. It's true. Now we're only a couple feet away as opposed to being 50, 100 feet away.
True.
So now we see them much differently.
And we not only we see them on the scale, we see them kind of waiting to get on the scale. We see them after they walk off the scale. When they go to the little, food buffet, and they're like,
Not to mention, it's these early morning weigh-ins they're not about the pageantry of it anymore.
Right.
They're all about just people getting in there and this sort of more private confines and getting on there and doing it. And you see somebody like even Paige VanZant did not look that great on the scale. Her eyes were very red. She just looked that not normal. So I feel like we do see them in a different light as we're kind of going forward with this. But an interesting little twist in this game recovery. You know what I mean? Just kind of getting a different gauge of who handles what cut better.
Yeah. Well, that's a good. Let's move on to Paige VanZant's fight then. What did you think of her performance?
At first, I mean, she came out with a flying knee right off the bat, and I thought, well, that's that's pretty aggressive. Here she is on this Fox platform. She wants to make a big splash, considering where she's been, Dancing with the Stars and everything else. But it seemed like her timing was all off. She was not in a good rhythm as these things come flying in.
And the 360.
Yeah, she did that. It was so far off that it was almost comical.
But then she admitted in the post presser, she said that was kind of a teaser. She wanted
she was just baiting her.
Yeah.
But so it certainly baited me into thinking like, oh, she's just what is this? This is silly. And I thought that Beck was doing pretty good in those exchanges early. Yeah. She was kind of tagging her up pretty good. And so that first round, I basically was like, this might be a tough fight for Paige VanZant. And then before I could even get used to that idea, it's like, boom, she's she's out. So that kick. I guess that's just how quick it can be.
Yeah, I tweeted right beginning of the second round. I was like, if Paige wants to win this fight, she's got to get in there and get hit. Because the first round she looked, I don't want to say scared, but she's like, oh, Beck's got some power in those hands. Sure. And I was like, she's going to lose this fight if she just kind of keeps circling on the outside. Yeah. But that was
a great tactic, actually. She was testing her reactions to all of the crazy stuff
she certainly looked different. She certainly looked different because, I mean, usually it's like, a lot of pressure and perseverance. Like Kaylin back in that other one, she just kind of weathered the storm and came across late. And, we've seen her pressure other fighters, and sometimes that gets you into bigger danger. So definitely a different look for Paige VanZant. But then you keep remembering she's only 22 years old, and she came off of this. It could have been a devastating loss for her, against Rose Namajunas, and just the way she lost that fight. And it was a very nice response considering the time off and what else she's been doing, and the UFC's endorsement, and her to show up and do that, I thought was pretty good.
Beck was actually my upset tonight. I thought she was going to win the fight,
because of her hands,
her hands and size. But I think, Beck's, she mentioned it early in an interview. Beck's a 125er, I think, and I don't know if you saw her Instagram. She looked. I was kind of surprised she even posted those videos because she could not stand up when she was cutting her weight. So she's so much bigger than Beck. And I think since she was Paige was able to last that first round. We have that big weight cut. After the second round, you're going to start feeling it, And I think
she did look very tired.
Her reactions are slower.
She was tired just chasing Paige around in the middle of the first round. She put her hands down on her knees and just waited. Yeah. She didn't want to follow her, and she didn't want to circle anymore. So
it'd be interesting to see what happens with Paige VanZant. Like we just said, I mean, she's 22, and obviously you're not like. I would be very scared to put her up against the best right away again. I think that she should have a more gradual build at this point, or at least one more good fight to see what she does. She's going to fight in her hometown, I think, in Sacramento. Seems like they'll accommodate her on that request.
Yeah, I thought that it was too soon to put her against Rose when they did, and I would hope that they find another good matchup for her like this.
I thought it was too soon to put her against Joanne Calderwood, which is the original fight.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So.
Maybe they run that one back now. Maybe. I don't know. It still would be like a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, if Carter wouldn't get past Andrade, I think in a couple weeks.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see. I think Paige should fight someone still behind her in the rankings, not ahead. Yeah. That's my. I think that's best for her and best for the UFC.
I think so too.
That's my.
Okay. Let's talk about Miller Lauzon rematch.
It was a fight. I mean, it was a fight. They both hit each other, and there's nothing. I mean, it doesn't really mean very much other than bragging rights.
Right.
Did you have it for? I thought it was.
I honestly thought it was for Lauzon, but that's just off the naked eye, sitting there that close and kind of going.
I did actually score the fight for Lauzon, but I mean, I'd have to watch it again.
I was a little surprised, but there was a couple of scores tonight that were. I mean, there were nothing robbery-wise. You know,
Yeah.
There was that one fight. There's a fight I didn't even watch at all.
Yeah.
Where everyone on MMADecisions.com, every media member,
Exactly.
picked the. Can you look at the card?
Sure.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
yeah.
Was it that one?
No, look at the card.
No, I know. I'm trying to. Was it the Bosnia?
Oh yeah, Barzola. Yeah, he should have won.
Yeah, I thought
handily.
that Barzola won
was-
that fight as
yeah,
well.
I thought he won 30-27, so I was a
Yeah.
little shocked by that one.
Yeah. I always feel bad for these guys because like no one really cares in a sense.
He seemed stunned. He was walking by, and it just seemed like he didn't know how to take that. You know, it was
Yeah.
sort of like, wait a minute, you know, what am I supposed to do here? That seemed like a pretty clear victory. That 10-8 round that, what was the 10-8 round? There was a 10-8 round in the Pettis fight, right? The first round, and that was another one. I mean,
I didn't think it was a 10-8. It's not the worst 10-8.
Of course.
Well,
You're always
actually,
happy
it's
that
pretty
they want
close,
to do
though.
that.
Now that they want to do more 10-8s, that's actually
Yeah.
pretty close to what a 10-8 would be defined as because the fight was very close to being finished.
True.
But I thought Oliveira did enough damage. Didn't Oliveira?
Yeah, he had his moments.
too, but
Yeah.
it's not the worst 10-8. I've seen
We just have to
worse.
revise
so.
our
But,
idea of that.
luckily, Pettis finished the fight, so no one cares.
Yeah.
So,
He'll be for-
just
Jim
quickly,
Miller, yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
I
that's
wanted
right.
to skip ahead, actually. I just wanted to talk about if there was a fight from the undercard that stood out.
Man.
Alvie.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe the Sam Alvey one. I mean, that
Sam
guy
Al-
hits hard.
Yeah, Sam Alvey. Not necessarily that he won. I think he was expected to win, but I enjoyed that enthusiasm. I enjoyed that different personality. Watch our post-fight scrum with Sam Alvey. It's very interesting. We bring his wife out onto the camera of their baby. He traveled here with like 6 babies and
crazy.
eight car seats. It was
At
insane.
least he gave props to his wife.
yeah, major props. And
Yeah.
and check out the great photo of them making out after the win. So this is, you know.
Did you say that URL was?
Huh? Oh, SamAlveyMakingOut.com. But yeah, that's
So.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
For,
I totally
It was a good-
interrupted
it was
you
a
when
good
you were
card.
talking about Jim Miller, though. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
What's that
I mean,
fight?
I thought it was a fun fight. I mean, it was still, it kind of started off with that frenetic pace
Mm-hmm.
that it was like a left off from. But you know, I thought Lauzon in the end, he ended up on top quite a bit. And I thought he was active when he was on top. He was doing some stuff, and of course there was some submission attempts from the bottom too. So I mean, it was close. There's no robbery there, but I was
Yeah.
really interested if it came down to 1-1 if we were going to look at this doing it again. I was like, sort of did not want that to happen, but yeah, it was a good fight.
It was a good fight. I
I just
enjoyed
think
it
the
a lot,
stakes, you know,
actually.
like where these guys are at in their career and everything, it just
It was really fun to be in the arena for it. I felt like the crowd was just like they liked both of them, so the crowd wasn't really
Yeah.
cheering for one or the other. They were just excited
That's
to
true.
be there and watch it.
that was true. That's fun.
what do we want to see next for both those fighters?
Man,
I want to see Joe Lauzon versus Lando Veneta. That's what I want to
Okay.
see. And for Miller, I don't know. And that's someone else.
now he's, you know, he's got his the whole Lyme disease thing's kind of he's
Yeah.
gotten things going, and now he's got the 2 fights in a row.
Yeah.
So you never know. You sort of hope though. that
someone borderline between the 10
That's
and
what
15,
that's what you
15
like
and
to see.
10. No,
That's what you like to see. So
Great.
cool. Well,
Thanks for joining
Yeah.
us at here in Vancouver, and we'll
Yeah.
see you in Cleveland.
that's right.
Cleveland.